So this achievement requires us to experience 20 occurrence interactions in a single run while using the Occurrence Extrapolation dice. One important thing to note though is that this doesn't mean 20 occurrence domains, but rather an occurrence in this context is an occurrence event. This means that anything that has a floating portrait that you interact with is counted as an occurrence interaction. So this includes reward domains and intracognition domains. The Occurrence Extrapolation dice does give you a random reward domain at the start of the first and second plane, but other than that, it doesn't do too much help with this achievement. So we're going to be relying on our die faces to help out. The aim of the game here is going to be duplicating as many double beacon occurrences and rewards as possible. So let's take a look at our die faces. Our first face, General Attention, is going to be one of the most important faces that we have here. We want to use this at the start of every plane, or at least at the start of plane 1 and 2. This is going to be the more consistent of the two of our beacon generation faces, so we're going to be depending on it to give us our double beacons. That said, we do have General Diffusion as well, which generates 3 random beacons onto random domains on the field. This, however, can only happen once per plane, and it doesn't always target occurrences. Once we get our double beacons, it's up to the rest of our die faces to duplicate these beacons as much as possible so that we can get our 20 interactions. General Inspiration is a pretty great face as it lets us copy any domain onto 2 random locations. Obviously, we're going to be using this to duplicate as many double beacon domains as possible. Domain Self is another duplicating face, but take note of the wording here when using this die face, as this copies the domain that you're currently standing on onto a selected domain. So make sure you don't accidentally override a double beacon. General Counteract, on the other hand, lets us immediately copy a domain onto an adjacent domain, so it's a pretty great die face. Then lastly, we've got General Dialectics, which is similar to Domain Self in that it copies the current domain that you're standing on, but this time to a random location. So I'll just pop up on screen here bits of my own run so you can kind of see what to expect. Our primary focus will be on double beacon occurrences and reward domains, but don't sleep on intracognition domains either, as these are also worth 1, but it can also reward you with 1 cheat or 3 rerolls, which come in very handy. Also, just a fun fact for those still around, this achievement was actually one of the harder achievements to get during beta, as it required you to get 30 occurrence interactions in a single run, but thankfully they nerfed it to 20 before release.